Thank you. Good afternoon. Let me see if I can work this well. I wear a number of hats at the university, and one of them is the director of the European Union Center, and that's the mode in which I will be addressing you today. We do a lot of things at the European Center, globally, domestically. We do multidisciplinary research. We do global conferences. We talk on the Hill with senators and members of Congress. But one of the things that we do, which I will talk to you today about, is the one that I feel most passionate about. And that's our Global Financial Literacy Program. This is one of the few programs that we run that I personally oversee and I run. And this is something that is very close to my heart. Look, I'm a first-generation immigrant in this country. I spent half of my life, I was born overseas, in Africa, in the Middle East, and in Europe. The second half of my life is here in D.C. I live in D.C., I raise my kids here, and I work here, and I will probably retire here. Okay. And so, again, I have a vested interest in this program. Let me give you a sample of some of the program initiatives that we do. One of them is the EuroChallenge. And before I go into all of these programs, let me mention one thing. All these initiatives, all of them, are based on a central concept that the world, that our youth are not living in their parents' age anymore. The world has changed, and we have to understand that when we educate them. It's all web-based, social media networks, it's viral, it's global. Okay? And it's the ability to succeed and compete globally is what these programs are focused on. So you'll hear me say the word competition quite a lot, because our youth have to compete for pretty much everything today. Today I will spend a little more time on the EuroChallenge, which is a national competition. We have launched this in partnership with the European Union delegation, which is the European Embassy in town, and the World Affairs Council, and I'll talk about them in a minute after I go through some of the other programs. We also run global competitions, and they're entirely web-based and social media-based. Competitions to start virtual small businesses, teaching students how to do accounting, basic marketing. Our ultimate goal for DC is to institute a global financial literacy certificate, and we would like to start with Ward 8. Every single high school institutes a certificate of financial literacy on the global issues. Let me talk a little bit about this EuroChallenge and focus on how we are working with Ward 8, or we'd like to work with Ward 8 on this issue. This is a national educational competition for 9th and 10th graders, as was just mentioned, to teach not only students, but to train teachers about what Europe is all about, what the single currency is all about, and how it impacts our economy here. And in doing so, we will be talking about, we want all the public schools to participate in DC, and in particular the Ward 8 schools. We are doing an outreach to them, and all these schools will have one team, and each team, about 5 to 6 students, will be competing nationally. They will pick a country, and they will discuss issues, economic challenges such as growth, unemployment, aging, healthcare. These are the same issues that plague all the developed countries all over the world, including here. Now, how does this work with Ward 8? We are going to have these workshops where we discuss economics, critical thinking, global issues, leadership, solving real-world problems. And we are going to do special workshops for all public schools in DC, but in particular Ward 8 schools. We're going to pull them aside and do special workshops on these initiatives to train not only the students, but also the teachers on these issues. I have also dedicated myself that I will be the personal liaison for Ward 8, for all the students and the teachers and the teams that participate in this project. Okay. Winning the EuroChallenge. Well, we like to give out cash prizes. It provides an incentive. About over $1,200 per student for the winning team, trophies for regional competitions, certificates to all participating students, so we start the financial literacy program. In addition to this, our focus is also on the teachers, so that what we do is we pick 20, the European Union and the GW, we pick 20 teachers nationally, and of which we anticipate 2 or 3 to be from the DC area, and our specific focus is Ward 8. We are going after those teachers who have never been to Europe or have no means to get there, at least in the near future. Those are the teachers we want. We take them on a 5-day study tour to Brussels, and we introduce them to the European institutions, we introduce them to the European delegations. Now, we are in partnership, and these are long-term partnerships with the European Union delegation. This program, in fact, is bedded within the European Union delegation. And the point that I really want to put here is this EuroChallenge is not a pilot program. It is tried and tested in New Jersey and in New York, and now we are doing it in Washington, D.C., in terms of pulling it together with the university, training all the teams from D.C., so that we actually win this national competition. Then that's our goal. We are also partnering with the World Affairs Council, which is a nonpartisan, nonprofit, global education institution. That's their mission. In fact, President Knapp sits on their board, and these are all long-term marriages that we are going to be involved in. Now, why is this so necessary? We just talked about, Mayor Gray just mentioned the partnership between universities and the district, and to have a different kind of partnership. When you hook up with an institution like us, or the World Affairs Council, or the European Union delegation in town, these are resilient partnerships. They don't shift when the politics shifts. These are long-term commitments, and this is what we need in education. Whether I'm here tomorrow or President Knapp is here, I hope he is, these things stay, these programs stay, and this is why partnering with institutions is so important. The topic of research came up. This is where we do it. We train the students, we train the teachers, but at the same time we get the research at the same time. Goals for Ward 8, in particular with this Global Financial Literacy Program? Well, for starters, fostering leadership as a way of life. This is not optional. This is how you succeed in the real world. Global awareness, to create global awareness for the youth, specifically in Ward 8, that the world is just not this. It's not this. It's this. This is where they will compete. Competition is global, we know that. Competition for education, a seat in a college, a job, having a good life. Okay? This is all global, and that's where we're at it. The competition youths are going to face are not just their peers, they're not just American youth, but they're youth from Brazil, India, South Korea, China, Russia, Germany, Africa. This is their competition. So in instituting the EuroChallenge program, we hope to use that as the first step to foster the notion of global leadership, global awareness, and competition that is global amongst the youth, pretty much for everything that they do. And using these strong partnerships, which are lasting partnerships, okay, we hope to this end. I want to just make one deal with all of you. We talked about at the beginning of this summit, and Dean Guthrie mentioned this, that we don't want to come back in 1 year and still be talking about these things. We actually want to do something. So I make a deal with you. You give me your 9th and 10th graders from Ward 8 for the EuroChallenge for this year. And I promise you, not in 1 year, but in 8 months, I will give you different students back. And we will do this every year. Thank you.